Hello, I'm Phil Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this lesson, I really want to talk about something that seems so stupidly simple, but can actually have a huge impact on your life, and that's to turn off as many notifications as you can get away with. And this can be for your computer, this can be, but especially your phone. You know, we are so glued to our phone, and essentially the world is vying for our attention. And unless we're very deliberate about how we utilize our time, we're always going to be chasing something, and for lack of a better term, you're not going to feel good. I find the less I'm deliberate with my time, my focus, my energy, and the things that I'm doing, the more, not that I'm depressed, but the more I veer towards what would eventually perhaps lead to depression and so forth. And so in that way, I always find I need to be as focused with my time as much as possible. And because it feels so much better when you are in control of your time. And I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. I mean, there's plenty of books, there's plenty of science to back up this notion that, every successful person, that you can kind of look at in all these self-help books, they always discuss this notion that they wake up early, and have some sort of ritual, whether it be meditation, whether it be yoga, whether it be journaling, something where they can kind of essentially quiet their mind and then go about their day deliberately. And I think we need to, by turning off notifications, we can start to carry this in a larger way throughout the day, right? And maintain that focus. So for me, I apart from phone calls and text, those are the only two things that my phone notifies me of. Because, at the end of the day, if, you shoot me an email, if it's urgent, there's a better way to get in touch with me, right? You shouldn't, and by the way, just in general, for most things, you shouldn't send an email for something that's urgent, right? It's at the end of the day, it's an email. One of the whole reason what email was created was so that way people kind of respond in their own time. And so, in that way, even text messages, I wish I could kind of take text messages off, but it is a good form of communication to most people. But the downside is when my friends are let's say texting throughout the day, just funny stuff, and all of a sudden you have 50 notifications of people just going back and forth LMAO and all that stuff, and just GIFs and memes and so forth. It can get a little bit too much. But nonetheless, I've tried to minimize it to just what is quintessential, so that way I don't have all these notifications. I know some people who get a notification every time someone likes a photo of theirs on Instagram, let's say. And, this might be a person that has, 50,000 followers. And it's well, they're getting pretty much a like or a comment every 5 seconds. And it's how are you going to get any work done? It's just, and I don't know. It's a notion that I've talked about with my friend Charlie Barons, where, almost purgatory or hell is just constantly being on your phone. And people talk about this all the time. You're not being attentive in that way. And it's, if you're by yourself and whatever, that's great. But too often, I've seen where people, I'm sure you have your own examples where you're out at dinner and so forth, hanging out with your friends, and everyone's just constantly on their phone. And that's not my idea of fun. It's not. And, but even work-wise, especially if you're a creative, you need to channel energy towards longer periods of time. If you let's say are working on a song, and you've set aside an hour of your time to write a song, if you're being constantly interrupted, even let's say every 10 minutes, well, it really takes 20 minutes just to get in a groove. And so by that kind of understanding, you will never hit that groove within that hour, because every 10 minutes you're constantly being refocused. Now that doesn't mean you can't, but just that we don't do well when constantly something is vying for our attention. We have to, the more focused we are on something, the better it is. So it's not to, again, it's not to say that you couldn't write something decent within that hour while still being distracted. But imagine what you could write within that hour without those distractions, right? At least try it. So this is kind of what I have for you, is to really start to focus your energy on the things that are important to you, right? Define the things that are important to you, and do that by whatever notifications you can take off. Take those off, so that way you are in command of your time rather than other people being like, hey, I need you. Hey, I need you. I mean, that's essentially what any notification is really doing, is like, hey, pay attention here, pay attention here, pay attention here. I'm more important than what you're doing. And the more present you can be, the better off we can be. And to that point, I will say, just as a quick additional bonus, little tidbit, when it comes to social media, I think if you're going to post, make that deliberate too. Give yourself 20 minutes after posting, so that way, any comments that come in, you can respond to and so forth. I think we always, I see a lot of people, they look towards like, posting on social media. I have like 30 seconds here, so I'm just going to post something real quick. Well, part of social media is also being engaged with the people that do, follow you and so forth. And so don't just dedicate 30 seconds. Like because then, again, by having all these notifications, you're constantly going back to it, as opposed to being present for them for that 20 minutes and being the best version of you within that 20 minutes. That's just and you can make it 10 minutes, you can make it 30, whatever you want, right? And you can do this multiple times throughout the day, but even like your social media presence can be more deliberate rather than just, all these like one-off check-ins for 10 seconds here, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully it is of great benefit to you. Curious to know your thoughts, also your experience. So, if you do try this out, how is it working out for you? Please let me know down in the comments section, or hit me up on social media at Svitek. I would love to hear from you. Also, feel free to share this with anyone in your life who might benefit from this. That's my dog Chloe chewing on a squeaky toy, and that's her way of saying she agrees, and wrap it up. So thank you so much. I hope to see you next time.